Assalamu alaikum friends. Today's topic is salient features of Sylvia Plath's poetry. So let's start.
Modern English poetry in general and the modern American poetry in particular is perhaps the richest record of all major disciplines of our existence. The poets who are entitled as the modern ones have interdisciplinary approach. Their integrated and multidimensional outlook really satisfy the modern sense and sensibility at the same time. Modern poets and writers present confusion, conflicts, and complexity. They want to be true to themselves and describe through images what is passing through their minds. Same is the case with Sylvia Plath. Most of the critics argue that Sylvia Plath rebels against the cultural norms, but her interaction with adversity extends beyond the stance of parody and satire. Sylvia Plath, as a modern poetess, has great and incredible landmark in the history of English literature. She belongs to a school of thought where war is a strong motivation for writing. The terminology of modernism is meant to have awareness of all the social, cultural, and geopolitical problems of the society. Plath's poetry successfully objectified the poetess' relationship with four aspects of reality: the family, women, nature, and death. It is poetry that shocks by virtue of some of its more sentimental thematic concerns: injury, victimism, parasitism, brutality, war, cannibalism, and death in all forms. The relationship among these elements center upon conflicting vision of death. She expresses her personal agonies. Man's unhappiness is directed toward his own socio-political imbalances. These imbalances has become the theme of modern poetry. Plath was never satisfied with the world because she wished everything and everybody to be as he would have them. The landscapes and seascapes provide Plath with the symbolic setting of life and death. Plath's experience of life had been very tough. She bore the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. She was disillusioned by her parents, husband, society, and life. Her breakdown was in large a reaction to her unhealthy union with her mother. I lay in bed when I thought my mind was going blank forever and thought what a luxury it would be to kill her. So death always haunts her mind and her poems. The bee-meeting arrival of the bee-box puppies in October, Morning Song, and Ariel are the striking examples of her vision of death. In her poetry, we find autobiographical elements with the use of symbols and illusions. Plath wrote as she lived. She went on recording what she found and experienced. Ariel is a fine example of her experiences. Her desire to control and manipulate and to give them universality made things different for her readers. She wanted to achieve impossible things. As she says, I believe that one should be able to control and manipulate experience, even the most terrifying, like madness, being tortured. This sort of experience with an informed and intellectual mind. She was much more than a feminist, a stiff narcissist at one end and a visionary at the other end. She always loved herself, her flesh, her bones, her achievements. The instinct of ego was great in her. She admits her self-love very clearly. I do not love anybody except myself. I am capable of affection for those who reflect my own world. Her extremist art only shows her strong obsessive compulsive neurotic condition and the price she paid, namely her life. Sylvia Plath's poetry have many personas in it. She was not only a female to convey her feelings and different emotions, but also the representative of the general behavior of females towards the world and also others' behavior toward a female in the society. She shows female in her poetry as a mother, a child, even shows her into the shape of some material objects to show restrictions on female. In one of her poems, The Arrival of the Bee Box, she showed female in the form of a bee box. This bee box can also be her mind, which is locked and trying to get out. How can I let them out? It is the noise that appalls me most of all, the unintelligible syllables. So a woman is always present in her poems. Her poems seems to take a sudden flight from ordinary to extraordinary and from pain to death. She wanted others to do what she desired. Of course, this desire is common to all mankind, but she was uncompromising sort. That is why she could not pull along with even the man she idolized. The role of war is very important in modernism. War makes the man helpless By using machines, disillusionment of man gives him injuries and pains. Plath, like other moderns, is passing through the same condition, and her helplessness and disillusionment forces her to write about death
again and again. In her poetry, she uses almost a childlike language, but the thoughts are complex. The image of bee reveals so many interpretations as a society, as a womb, and as a mind. Images of violence, death, alienation, isolation, intensity, and darkness are present in her poems. So Plath's work is remarkable for the intensity of the poetess' feeling, which permeate not only the idea but also the form and diction, as a critic puts it. Her writing was a very strong compulsive act. She was not so much worried about publishing what she wrote. She thought writing would order her mind. Use of commonplaces and colloquial style is also an aspect of her work. She uses simple diction, sometimes she adopts dramatic style and dialogue. Similes, metaphor, and monologues are also there in her poetry. By using multidimensional techniques and different styles, she shows her command and grip in her field. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.